Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a just doing my makeup. Actually I've kind of done my makeup. I'm doing a just doing my eyeshadow basically. So some of you will know because some of you requested to see this. I picked up a whole bunch of Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes when Sephora had a 50% off glitch recently, and I've only used one, but I am going to try and use them all, and if you guys want to see me use them all on camera, I can do that. It's just going to take me a little while to get them out, but I was specifically asked to do the Subliminal palettes. So I have the large Subliminal palette somewhere. Let me find it. Mothership 1. So this was the first one, I'm assuming. So that's the large palette. It's predominantly cool toned, which is cool. And then there is the platinum bronze palette. So this is the mini palette that's meant to complement that larger palette. I'm using this one today. With the larger palettes, excuse me, I want to do videos with these big palettes, but I kind of want to do like a maybe 3 looks with the one palette in one video. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'm putting it out there, so hopefully the universe is kind to me when I actually attempt it. I don't know if it'll go up or if it'll work out that way, or if I'm going to have to film the looks over 3 separate days, because my eyes, they get quite sensitive once I remove makeup. So if I put makeup on, I'm all good, but when I remove it, my eyes, what is that noise? My eyes get very watery after I remove makeup. So I don't know how I'm gonna go doing that particular video with the palettes, but we'll see. I'll work it out. Hopefully things will go very well. I can do 3 looks in one sitting and the videos can go up quickly. Otherwise they're going to take me a while, so there's that. But with this palette I just want to do one look because it is very simple. It's a little 6-pan palette, so you know, I don't expect to do too much with this, especially not this one, because it consists of like 5 shimmery shades and 1 matte. So it's kind of limiting. Now the reason I purchased this palette was because, okay, one, I got it 50% off, so I only paid $42.50 for it, which means these retail for $85 in Australia. You can pick them up at Sephora. But the reason I purchased this one is because I love a good cool toned eyeshadow, and this spoke to me. It was like, you like these colors? Buy me. So I did. So I'm just gonna do, I don't know, look, there's 1 matte in there, so obviously I'm gonna use that, and then there's 5 shimmers. I don't know what I'm gonna use. I haven't decided, but I'm gonna decide by swatching them. So there are the 6 shades. From the top down, the shades are Platinize, Smoke and Mirrors, Telepathic Taupe, Deep Velvet, Ritualistic, and Sextrovert. This matte swatched really nicely. Look, they all kind of swatch nicely, but that means nothing for how they go on the eye. So I'm going to put things on the eye today. I'm going to use the matte shade, obviously, and I'm going to use this sort of purpley, cool toned purpley shade, which was Ritualistic, and probably something in the inner corner might go with this one, and maybe something along the lower lash line. The bronze might work, so we'll see. We'll see how we go. Hopefully it looks good. Prepped my eyes with the Too Faced Shadow, no, what are you? Yes, Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer, and set between my crease and my brow bone with a like matte cream colored eyeshadow that's too light for me at the moment. Going in with the Hakuhodo J146 with the matte shade. Just tapping off excess. maybe we don't need to tap off the excess. Gosh, okay. It initially goes on quite patchy, so a little bit of building necessary, which I don't really mind. I guess I just didn't expect it. Just taking a clean blending brush. This one's from Crown. It's the BK38 Badger blending crease, and I'm just gonna soften the edges, make sure they're blended nicely. Or as nicely as we can blend them without using a lighter transition shade with such a dark crease shade. Hakuhodo, this is a S5523A. I've just picked up that purple sort of metallic-y cool tone shade. It looks very dark, but we'll pop it on. Got a bit of fallout there. Let's see if I can clean it up. I feel like when you tap off your brush, you lose a lot of what the brush picks up. But if you don't tap it off, you get fallout. So I'm kind of like, it's annoying. Suva Beauty 350 brush, so it's just a little detailer. I'm going into the first shade. Oh, that brush is firm. First shade, which is a light one, and I'm just gonna pop it on the inner corner. I was gonna bring the matte along my lower lash line and then put the bronze over it, but the matte color is too dark. I don't want that on my lower lash line, so I'm just taking the bronze on its own, Ray Morris 9.1 pencil point shader, and I'm just gonna pop that along the lower lash line. Ooh, that adheres really nicely. Just realized I didn't do my eyebrows, but that's okay. I can do them when I'm chucking on mascara and eyeliner. So there's the kind of look in itself without adding anything to it. So you could go ahead and just like chuck on some mascara. It's a really quick look. If you're not stopping to talk to a camera and explain what you're doing, you're looking at like maybe 5 minutes, unless you have issues with that matte blending out. And I will say this, I do think that matte could potentially be problematic if you don't have a smooth, already powdered base to blend it over. It could stick and grab, but I haven't done that today, so I don't know for sure. Everything else applied pretty well. The cool tone purple surprised me. It picked up fairly well on the brush, but when I sort of patted it down, it wasn't like sticking really well. I had to sort of go over it a few times, dip back in, pat it on, dip back in, pat it on. So that's a thing. Same with this light sort of taupey shade down here. It kind of required some building. The bronze was pretty good. It went on really easy on this eye, and I had to build it on this eye. So, you know, there's that. I quite like this look, but I want to change it up a little bit. I want to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more like daytime, and add some brightness to it. Now, this palette alone, I would consider this a nighttime palette, because it's kind of a bit sultry and, you know, darker. You could certainly lighten something like this up just using that outer crease color or the matte in the crease in the outer corner, and then going in with one of the taupey shades. They are, you know, a bit lighter on the spectrum. You could also use the bronze, but I think the bronze would actually sort of have the same dark depth as the purple does. And it's not dark, but it's not, I wouldn't consider the purple a light shade. You could even, you know, chuck one of the metallics or the shimmers all over the eyelid if you wanted to, and just go. So I would consider this more of a nighttime palette. I would probably pull this out if I wanted to do like a bit more of a sultry look, and I would either use it on its own or I would pair it with just a single eyeshadow. I wouldn't, look, I'm not the type of person to pull out two palettes and use them simultaneously, but that's just my preference. You know, other people are going to be totally different in the way that they like to do their makeup and the way they like to pair their products. But to make this a little bit more fun, I'm actually going to put on a bright red eyeshadow. Bright red eyeliner. This is Cherry Bomb from Suva Beauty. I haven't used this yet. It's brand new to me. I just picked it up recently. So I'm going to chuck it on. I'm going to use a Sigma E06 Wing Liner brush to get this on. Bear with me. Applying eyeliner in front of a camera, it's actually not the easiest thing. Just combing through my lashes to make sure none of them are sticking together with the liner that I managed to get on my lashes. If you're not a coloured liner aficionado, if it's not your jam, by all means go in with a black liner, grey liner, brown liner, no liner. Doesn't matter, the look would be pretty without it. I'm gonna apply some mascara. This is my beloved Hourglass Confession mascara, I think. Is that what it's called? No, Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. That red liner is so punchy with its pigment. It's still coming through on the lashes even after I've applied a coat of mascara. Interesting. That eyeliner is not for the faint of heart. Okay, I am going to go in with lashes, but before I do that, I'm going to put, I'll start with the black actually. This is a Flormar Ultra Black eyeliner. I'm going to put that along my upper lash line. And then I'm going to take same type of pencil. It's a Flormar Ultra Copper. And I'm just going to put that on my lower waterline. Stab myself in the eyeball. Alright, so that's a look in itself. I quite like wearing a false lash when I'm filming, even sometimes when I go out. So I'm gonna chuck some lashes on, but you can see what it looks like there just on its own. Smoky with a pop of colour. And that's the finished look with lashes. I use the Eyeliner Luxe Solitaire lashes, and I cut them in half so they're a nice small demi lash. Not so much that, oh god, glue's gotta dry, of course. Not so big that they're gonna cover up that hard work with the liner or any of the pretty colors on your eyes. Just add a bit of depth and wispiness to the lashes, and also some denseness on the outer corners. So I like those ones. Okay, so let's talk about this palette and what I think of it. So the palette itself isn't too bad. It's, you know, it's a 6-pan palette. I think if you like cool tones and you're looking for something that you can do a cool toned look with day or night, this is not a bad little color selection. The matte is very dark. It is very, very dark, and I feel like it looks a little bit more purpley in the pan, but it comes off very like dark chocolate brown on the eyes, with the like grey undertone. So it's a cool tone, dark matte brown. I think in terms of like the color selection and the formula, it's not worth its value at 85 Australian dollars. In my opinion, I feel like these shades can easily be replicated, and there's nothing super special going on with the color selection or the formula. It's just like, it's a pretty basic cool toned palette. If you like Pat McGrath and you really want to like add it to your collection, go ahead. It is a nice palette. It's just not a mind-blowing palette. I do want to swatch this, take these swatches and swatch them next to its big sister palette to see how the colors complement it. Elbow swatch. Alright, so there we can see the two palettes all swatched together. I think together the palettes look actually pretty cool. Boom tish. You've got a nice combination of, like, you know, nude, cool tone nudes, light shades for highlighting, some interesting sort of sparkly shades to jazz a look up. There is a nice bright blue in there, which is cool. I'm kind of keen to use that. The yellow is very interesting, and then you've got a nice lavender, which could go really well with this purple shade that's in the smaller palette. I think what disappoints me is the black. I feel like I've used a black in another Pat McGrath palette that I'm playing with at the moment, that I've got in my project pan just for the month, and I don't love it. I personally don't wear a lot of black eyeshadows, so they're never gonna get, oh no, you focus on the arm, they're never gonna get a super good rap from me when they're in palettes. But if you use black eyeshadows in a palette very, very regularly, then I can totally understand why people would like it. For me, it's a wasted shade, so it's not going to get any love. But overall, I think, look, if you go on for cool toned, the duo, the big palette and the small palette, definitely a fun one. And there's also some really interesting, like, brights and colorful sort of shades in there, like with the color shifting shades. They're not going to show very well on camera, but I could see the yellow, this sort of purpley, steely light blue shift, and the blue shift one being really interesting, just sort of tapped over the top of other eyeshadows. So, you know, it's it's interesting enough. I think if you're looking at this color story and going, hell yeah, that's my jam, I love it, I want both, I think you have to keep in mind, in Australia, this is going to set you back $275 for these eyeshadows. So you need to know if that is worth it for you or not. I'm very happy that I got these on sale because in my personal opinion, I wouldn't say that it's worth it, because it's not really unique enough or special enough. I do think you could dupe a lot of these for a more reasonable price point. But I look at Pat McGrath nowadays as a very luxe brand. It's almost like buying a Dior bag or YSL shoes or Louis Vuitton travel luggage or something like that. I consider this a very it's a high-end name. It's a name. You're paying for a name, and you're paying for heavy packaging with the large ones. The small ones, look, I think they're really cool with the packaging. I love the fact that the packaging of these is like, you get that beautiful visual artwork. Like, I think that's really cool. So I do have a bit of a preference when it comes to these palettes for the small ones over the larger ones, which for me, this is just like, when I have these together, I don't even know which one's which. It's just kind of annoying. But these little ones, they're pretty cool, and I think if you can get them on sale, I would say, you know, if you want it, go for it. It's the best time to buy it. Full retail, like paying $85 for this, I personally wouldn't do it. But that's really going to come down to, you know, what you're willing to spend your money on, and we're all different in that sense. But in terms of eyeshadow quality, they're all right. Like, they're not shit, but they're not amazing. Like, you're just paying for a name with Pat McGrath, okay? You're getting pretty good eyeshadows that many brands make. Color stories, if that speaks to you, then you obviously take that into consideration. Maybe the packaging is really special for you. But yeah, personally, I think it comes down to like buying expensive makeup. Do you want all of the Pat McGrath things? If you do, go buy it. Alright guys, so that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your comments down in the comment section about what I did to my face today. If you have this palette and you've tried it, let us know what you think about it, because, you know, it's always good to have other people's opinions. I think when people watch these videos, they have some interest in potentially knowing more about the product. So, you know, the more you know, the better. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next one.